Let me start today's home exploration with a question. It's actually, guess who I'm thinking about, okay? All right, let's start. Now, as soon as you know, you just shout out who you think I'm talking about. So we're talking about aeronautics. And I'm thinking of two brothers that worked really hard at experimenting. Now, they worked in another job, but they started experimenting things with air. And they found a way to use air to make something that flies. Aeronautics. And they were the first ones. Oh, you already know who is it? Oh, you think them? The Wright brothers? You know, that would be a good guess of who I was thinking about. But I was thinking about two other brothers. They lived longer ago than the Wright brothers, who invented and discovered to find a way to make the first airplane fly. But I'm thinking of two brothers that lived in France over 250 years ago in a place called Annonay, France, and they were paper makers. Now, these two brothers, Jacques and Joseph Montgolfier, they were made paper and they were doing some experiments. What they saw is when they would build a fire in the fireplace, maybe they were burning something like straw, the smoke would go up. And so they tried this thing. They took some of their paper and fashioned it into a balloon, if you will. And kind of a bag to trap the smoke from the straw that they were burning. And then they noticed as they trapped that smoke, something made it go up. And they tried it again and they got bigger bag. They made a bigger bag and sure enough, it trapped the smoke and the smoke went up. So then they got crazy. They said, what if we try it and make it big enough to maybe hold people? Maybe we could be the first ones to have someone fly up in the air. They've been dreaming that for years. Some people thought they could do that. And so they tried it. They got bigger bags and the Montgolfier brothers were the first ones to invent and successfully have pilots fly in, what do they call it? A hot air balloon. Now, I bet you didn't know that the hot air balloon did not have people in the first successful flight. Now, they were kind of worried about people being up in the air at high altitudes, and so the brothers Montgolfier, they decided to have animals to test to see if it would work. And I think it was a sheep, a rooster, and a duck were the first pilots of a hot air balloon. So what they did, now, they were right about air doing something to make the bag or the balloon fill up and go up. But the secret was not in the smoke, which they thought. The secret was in something called buoyancy. Buoyancy, say that word. Buoyancy. Now that has to do with water. If something is buoyant, that something has less air in or has more air in it, and it floats and it goes up. And then it can sink or float. That's buoyancy in water. But the same thing happens in air. So when air, in this case, gets hot, it expands, it becomes more buoyant. So what I have here is I have a big balloon here. Mine's not a paper bag. Mine is kind of a plastic bag, almost as thin as like a trash can, different colors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an old popcorn popper. It's my old Presto hot popcorn popper, and I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to just use the air that's inside the balloon, inside the bag, and I'm going to put that bag over it. And you can see it's not blowing air into it, but it's heating up what air is already in it. That air expands and becomes more buoyant. And if it expands just enough, well, you know what happens, hot air balloon, right? So it gets more and more, all right? So yeah, the brothers were right. They were the first ones, and later we did have a pilot see 3, 2, 1. And then sure enough, a hot air balloon is going up. And if it gets hot enough, the air expands and it goes up. And then when it cools down, it comes back down. How'd you like to try one at home? Here's one you can try. So, you may not have a bag like this, but maybe you have a very thin trash bag. This is called a liner. And these come in different sizes, but they're super, super thin. You need something thin. It's not too heavy. So when the air goes in it, it'll expand and it'll be light enough to lift up. Lighter than air, okay? So and what we have here is a hair dryer, hot air dryer. Okay, and so my hair dryer here has, of course, a heat setting on it, and that's what you're gonna need. And so take a bag and a liner, and you can try this at home. Make sure that if you do this outside that you're away from any wires or electricity or trees. I'm doing it just inside my garage here so you can see it. So we'll turn on our hair dryer, turn on the heat, and we'll do just a, there we go. That happened pretty fast. Let me just turn on the heat portion of that and turn it on low so that we can see it. Here we go. We'll do a countdown here. Are you ready? All right. Filling it up, heating up the air. It's becoming more buoyant. And launching in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. We got our hot air balloon. Give it a try at home. Have fun experimenting, asking questions, answering them yourself through discovery. Have fun.